China, given the fact that a kind of, in the past couple of years, the kind of standoffs that we have seen between India and China, and also that this force station is just right at the border that Assam shares with Arunachal Pradesh. You had pointed out that Arunachal Pradesh only last week actually came out with a list of few places of, rather China came out with a list of, with the names of, Chinese names of places in Arunachal Pradesh, trying to establish its claims on Arunachal Pradesh, which India has vehemently opposed. And within a week, this sortie, which Indian Air Force although says it was a planned sortie and has no relationship with what China had claimed, but this sortie is more of messaging as well in terms of India's position, in terms of India's capabilities. This Air Force station, Tejpur, is one of the key assets of Indian Air Force in the eastern sector, in the eastern frontier, under Eastern Air Command, and Sukhoi 30 MKI is the main frontline, fighter aircraft that India has deployed in the eastern sector. Although Rafales are there, and they are also being now deployed in eastern sector, but Sukhoi is the main potent, fighter aircraft that Indian Air Force has deployed in this sector. And this particular airbase basically also, keeps a vigil on the LAC in the eastern sector. It is not very far from the Doklam Plateau area, between Sikkim, Bhutan, and China. It is very, very close in terms of air travel distance to the Zimitang Valley between Bhutan, India, and China, and then the Tawang sector is also very close. The other parts of, particularly Arunachal Pradesh, the high altitude area, the mountain passes, which always, particularly in the winters, see a lot of snowing as well. Those are the areas which are under its vigil. So, apart from China, in the northeast, you have borders with Myanmar, you have borders with Bangladesh, you have borders also, if you talk about North Bengal, you have borders with Nepal. So this is a very strategic location for the Indian Air Force.
Right, and also this aircraft sortie by the president of the country is quite an encouragement and inspiration, especially for women seeking induction into the fighter aircraft squadrons or the Air Force in combat roles of the army.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is going to be a major, major inspiration. These visuals, when the visuals that are being played out on our screens, the photographs of this event, which will be, all over the social media, would be a major, major inspiration for youngsters, particularly women who would like to pursue their career in the Indian Armed Forces, particularly in the Indian Air Force. And even as we speak, the aircraft is ready, the President is ready, Indian Air Force is ready for this sortie, which would now take off any moment. In fact, the aircraft is ready for taxiing onto the runway at the Tejpur Air Force Station. And it has been now, the signals have been given for it to commence its taxi. So it's a big moment for the Indian Air Force, for the Eastern Air Command, for the Tejpur Air Force Station. This is the home of the Sukhois. This is the key, Sukhoi fighter jet base. And over the years, this base has developed in terms of man and machine. This also, remember, is a key helicopter base for the Indian Air Force. This is the place not only where they keep their fighter aircraft, but this is the place from where the helicopters of the Indian Air Force operate to the last post or on the LSC, supplying rations, supplying ammunition. So this is a key strategic base of the Indian Air Force, particularly in eastern sector. And as we speak, President fighter jet
is ready to take off.
30
Ratnadeep, we
MKI
can
has
see,
started.
yes, that plane has started. The Sukhoi 30 has started to move. It is about to take off. We did see President Murmu in her usual sari before she changed into an anti-gravity suit in order to be able to take this sortie, which Ratnadeep has mentioned could be about 30 to 45 minutes. Quite an inspiration and encouragement for young women there who want to join the armed forces. Droupadi Murmu there taking on that sortie from the Tezpur Air Force Station in Assam. She's been there over the last 2 days. She's inaugurated multiple events there as well over the last 2 days. Now she's taking on this sortie. She's the second president. The first president was Pratibha Patil back in 2009 when she created history as becoming the first female president of the country to take on such a sortie. But that was from Air Force Base in Pune. And other presidents who have taken on this sortie include APJ Abdul Kalam as well as Ramnath Kovind, the second female president after Pratibha Patil, who took on a similar sortie in 2009 from the Air Force Base in Pune. Now, Droupadi Murmu there, the president, after changing into an anti-gravity suit, there in that Sukhoi 30, ready to take on that sortie for the next 30-45 minutes. She is going to be taking off from the Air Force station in Tezpur in Assam. And of course, like Ratnadeep is talking about, its strategic location. It's very close to the Tawang border, and there's the Tawang region where there was a standoff between India and China. This is a tri-junction between India, China and Bhutan. The president there taking off on that sortie for the next 30 minutes. Ratnadeep, we can see that Sukhoi 30 just about to take off with the president going to take off. Take us, they are going to be on that Sukhoi 30 for the next 30 minutes at least before they arrive back at Tezpur. She is the second president, the second female president to be taking on that sortie.
That's right. And it was Pratibha Patil who took that sortie in 2009, as you pointed out earlier. And of course, other presidents like APJ Abdul Kalam have also were taken to sorties by Indian Air Force on frontline aircraft. But this perhaps, apart from the fact that the president, who is the second female president of the country, who represents, the tribal community, who represents, people from marginalized areas, from remote areas, is taking the sortie. Apart from all this, perhaps the biggest optics out of this is the fact that she's taking this sortie out on a Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jet, one of the most advanced fighter jets that Indian Air Force has in its assets, apart from the Rafales, and obviously perhaps more so to do with the location from where she is taking this sortie. As we speak, the aircraft, the fighter jet, has completed its taxi and it's on the runway and is about to take off. It's going to be a very important historic moment for Indian Air Force, more so for perhaps Tezpur Air Force Station, which is a very strategic location, as we have pointed out earlier. Remember that this is one of the key base of the Sukhoi 30, the Sukhoi fighter jets, and these are the jets, these are the prime assets of the country, of the Indian Armed Forces, in terms of keeping a vigil on the borders in the eastern sector, particularly in the east areas under the Eastern Air Command. And since this area, if you look at the eastern areas under Eastern Air Command, you have borders with several countries, including Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Myanmar, and most importantly, the line of actual control with China. These are the aircrafts who actually keep the vigil. These aircrafts are used to keep the vigil, and the man and the machines of the Tezpur Air Force Station, which is a very prime asset of the Indian Air Force. For them, it is a very big moment when their supreme commander is about to, take off in one of their aircrafts, the Sukhoi 30 MKI jets, who which are now ready. Even if you can see, it's about the sortie is about to start. There's going to be at least a 30-minute sortie, can be about 40 minutes as well. That's what we have been given to understand by Indian Air Force sources. Although Indian Air Force has not given out details in terms of the altitude that the president will be taken to, or the speed to which this aircraft will, go up to in terms of this sortie. But the fact that, when we first played out those visuals, when she was taking her guard of honor wearing a sari, and then she changed into the G suit, which is mandatory to be worn by the, when you fly in a aircraft, when you fly in a fighter aircraft, and this, perhaps signifies and would go on to inspire a lot of young people, particularly young women, in terms of, those who wants to pursue their career in armed forces, want to join Indian Air Force, particularly as pilots. This is going to inspire a lot of women to do that. As
the second female president, Ratnadeep, to be on that sortie, the Sukhoi 30, which is about to take off any minute now. And like Ratnadeep was pointing out, she changed into an anti-gravity suit before she could take on that sortie. She has been in Assam since Thursday. She did inaugurate the Gaj Utsav at the Kaziranga National Park. She also attended the Platinum Jubilee celebration of the Guwahati High Court. She is now taking on that sortie for the next 30 to 40 minutes. The second female president after Pratibha Patil, who in 2009 had also taken on a similar sortie from the Air Force station in Pune. Prior to this, other presidents like APJ Abdul Kalam as well as Ramnath Kovind have taken on similar sorties, and they're just about to take off from the Tezpur Air Force station in Assam. President Murmu there all set to take on that sortie, take off on that Sukhoi 30. There you can see visuals coming live on your screen from the Tezpur Air Force Station in Assam. Ratnadeep, if you could just get us some details about this fighter jet Sukhoi 30.
Well, as we speak, in fact, President Droupadi Murmu's sortie has just taken off from Air Force Station Tezpur. This is a very big moment for the Indian Air Force. This is a very big moment for perhaps, more so for the Air Force Station Tezpur. Now, this aircraft that the president is flying is one of the most advanced fighter jets that the country has, apart from the Rafale. This is initially a Russian-made aircraft, Sukhoi 30 MKI, but now Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, under license, they also make the same aircraft. And in fact, in the eastern sector, these are the main frontline aircraft in terms of keeping a vigil on the borders that the country actually shares in the eastern sector, particularly areas under the command of the Eastern Air Command. In fact, President Droupadi Murmu's sortie is now airborne. It is going to be basically a 30 to 40 minute sortie. That's what we have got to know from Indian Air Force. And in terms of the Sukhois, this is a multi-role aircraft, as one can say. This is the Su-30 MKI is a twin-jet multi-role aircraft, and it is basically developed by the Russia's Sukhoi, but now built in India under the license of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited.
Ratnadeep, the significance of the timing of this comes at a time during China's newsstand as far as Arunachal Pradesh is concerned.
That's right. And in fact, if you look at the timing of this sortie, although we did speak to some of the officials of Indian Air Force who said that this was this has nothing to do with the recent issues like China renaming some areas of Arunachal Pradesh and trying to establish its claims on Arunachal Pradesh. This is something which the Air Force has been planning for a long time in terms of taking the president on a sortie. Air Force says that this has nothing to do with with the Chinese claims. But the fact that it is taking place from Air Force Station, which is almost next door to Arunachal Pradesh and Tezpur in Assam, it is taking place from an Air Force Station using such an aircraft which is seen as the main asset of the Indian Air Force when it comes to manning the border, the actual line of control with China in the eastern sector, particularly along Arunachal Pradesh. Therefore, there is a lot of optics, there is a lot of messaging involved. And remember, the Sukhois are, apart from the Rafales, are the prime asset of the Indian Air Force. It is a all-weather, long-range fighter, multi-role aircraft. So these aircrafts are equipped with latest technologies. And in fact, in this sortie, the president would be also briefed by the Indian Air Force about the capabilities of this aircraft, particularly in terms of its speed, in terms of its range. The capabilities will be also explained to the president during this sortie, which is now underway. The aircraft is airborne, and we are told it will be at least a 30 to 40-minute sortie.
The president was received by the Eastern Air Command Air Marshal S.P. Dharkar. The governor was there as well as the Chief Minister, Ratnadeep.
That's right. In fact, the president is on a 3-day visit to Assam. It has been a packed schedule for the president. This is her second visit to Assam after, assuming the presidentship. In fact, yesterday she was at the famous Kaziranga National Park, where she inaugurated the Gaj Mahotsav, the Elephant Festival. Later in the evening, the president addressed the Platinum Jubilee celebrations of the Guwahati High Court, and the president, this is the third major event that the president is, attending before she leaves for New Delhi, and this is going to be a big moment, perhaps, for Indian Air Force, more so perhaps for a lot of youngsters who would be, keeping their eyes on these visuals that we are playing out of the Sukhoi MKI-30, on which the president is taking this sortie, would inspire a lot of youngsters, particularly women from tribal areas, from remote areas, to pursue their aspirations of a career in armed forces and perhaps join the Indian Air Force. There will be a lot of young women who would be inspired by this. And more in terms of, optics, in terms of messaging, perhaps this is a great opportunity for the Indian Air Force to show its Supreme Commander how prepared it is in terms of, because we are told that during the sortie, the president would also get to know, as the Supreme Commander of the Indian Armed Forces, about the capability of the Sukhoi 30 MKI, about the range, about it, about its speed, about its other capabilities.
Right.
And,
so, to know more about the Sukhoi 30, we have Prashant Dikshit, defense expert, joining us. Prashant Dikshit, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. If you could actually just take us through the significance of this particular air station, this Air Force station in Tezpur in Assam, and quite a historic moment there. She's the second female president to be taking on such a sortie.
You bet. This is a fantastic piece of news. I am truly delighted that the President Murmu is going to fly the Su-30 MKI from Tezpur. Tezpur is Indian Air Force's frontline base from where it prepares itself to deal with any adversary coming up from that part of the country. And as you know, we have a problem looming large with the country up north, and that needs to be handled. But what is delighting, truly, is the president, a lady, flies the Su-30 MKI. We are all aware that the women are now being inducted into the Indian Air Force. And more than that, there's one or two young ladies who are flying the Su-30 MKI, who's gone with the Air Force to Japan exercise. But if the president chooses to fly, it is an enormous message. And I also want to share something very personal with you. I used to be an aircrew in the number 106 Strategic Reconnaissance Squadron, which used to fly the Canberras those days. Now that is converted to the Su-30 MKI, and the squadron is at Tezpur. If she is going to fly in the aircraft of number 106 Squadron, I think that would give me an enormous amount of pleasure, pride and happiness. Tell me.
Right. If you could just take us through Sukhoi 30, what does it actually mean, the speed at which it flies, and, just give us more details about the Sukhoi 30.
But offhand, I can tell you, Su-30 MKI is a combat plane which we have developed to our needs and requirements. The Su-30 essentially was built by the USSR, from which it came to us, now Russia. It carries on board, it's capable of flying, as far as I know, right up to 40,000 feet, and is capable of acquiring speed up to 2.6 or 2.8 Mach, which is the speed of beyond the sound. What is truly unique is it carries the Astra BVR missile. BVR stands for Beyond Visual Range Missile. And the missile is capable of hitting up to 150 kilometers. And now I'm told that we are developing this missile to go even farther. As you all are aware, as the media says, the Astra is going to be fitted on most of our aircraft, combat aircraft in the Indian Air Force. The largest number of combat planes in the Indian Air Force are of the Su-30 MKI variety. And that is your most potent force. And all the frontline squadrons are equipped with this. And in the years to come, as we get the LCA Mark 1A or Mark 2 come into the stream, I think that's the time we will have a very composite Air Force. We are all looking forward to it.
Right. We also saw Droupadi Murmu change out of her sari into that anti-gravity suit. How heavy is that suit? Is it very difficult to wear? And how comfortable or uncomfortable is one in a warplane like this?
Let me share with you. The problems of gravity are felt if it exceeds beyond 4G conditions. But that is a condition needed for young, strong people. Since the president is somewhat older, I think it may be some little difficult for us to be put through 4G conditions. But you don't have to do that. A 4G condition will be only possible, in my memories, if I understand correctly, if the aircraft flies at about 600 to 800 or 900 kilometers per hour, and it's done a very rapid turn to any side, banking more than 30 to 40 degrees. But that is not needed to be done in this case. We are only familiarizing the commander of the Indian Armed Forces, the president of the country, President Murmu, to the regions of the Su-30 MKI to get her familiar. And I think that is what is the greatest achievement of this exercise.
A historic move and a historic moment there. The second president taking on that sortie on Su-30 from the Air Force Station in Tezpur in Assam. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. With that, we're stepping into a very short break. We'll get you a lot more on the other side.
when you leave.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
Debates are essential not just for journalism but for humanity. It ignites our mind, opens it up for counter-opinion. To hear all views, opinion of all hues. Which is why the oldest running debate show on Indian news television is not 23 years old, but young at 23.
इस इनिशिएटिव को मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं कि सच को सच के रूप में पेश करने का उन्होंने साहस दिखाया।
So let us begin the big fight.
"20 years since we started, this music has been with you, playing in your homes, at work, and in your car. Now, we want you to share your version of it. Calling all music buffs from across India to let your inner artists out by creating an incredible remix of the NDTV signature track for the world to hear. Log on to ndtv.com/bestofndtv to access the original track. Get inspired and submit your rendition. One winner gets an all-expense-paid holiday for two to the luxurious Alila Fort, Bishangarh, Rajasthan. NDTV 24/7. 20th year celebrations.
Digital technology has advanced more rapidly than any innovation in our history. The widespread use of smartphones has brought up a lot of new possibilities like saving lives through social media and testing games on a smartphone. And this is only the beginning. Let's take a look at some of the most inspiring stories showcased so far.
What did it take to get him to agree to a personal book about him?
So what happened is that on his 70th birthday, his retirement, I decided during COVID to surprise him, but I had written a coffee table book on him, which I did not publish, but just made it for him.
Now I'm very proud. I think she...
Welcome back. Now the Prime Minister is on a two-day visit to Telangana in areas of Tamil Nadu as well as Karnataka from today in a major infrastructure and connectivity push for the southern states. He will be inaugurating two Vande Bharat trains, one from Secunderabad to Tirupati and the second one from Chennai to Coimbatore. The Prime Minister in Chennai is set to launch a brand new swanky airport at a cost of 2,437 crore rupees, which will enhance the passenger traffic to 35 million per year. He will also lay the foundation stone of the AIMS hospital in Hyderabad, which will cost more than 1,350 crore rupees, and launch 5 new national highway projects worth more than 7,850 crore rupees. We have my colleague Uma Sudhir joining us. Uma, take us through what's on the agenda. Of course, many projects that are going to be inaugurated, foundation stones will be laid by the Prime Minister today. The big push in the southern part of the country.
Yes, indeed. This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP's big push in the south. They must clarify that all these are in fact government programs that we are talking about. So after the Vande Bharat flag off from Secunderabad to Tirupati, we are here at parade grounds where in fact numbers are being gathered in big numbers. I must point out that though this is a government program, the push has been for Chalo Parade Ground, and this that also has to do with the surcharge kind of a political atmosphere that has been in Telangana the last couple of days with the arrest of Mr. Bandi Sanjay, who's a state BJP chief, and subsequently all the BJP leaders wanting to show that BJP is the party to reckon, and that's the party that has its strength in Telangana, and that's why these big numbers. So that's the podium where we are expecting Prime Minister Narendra Modi to come in a short while. So other than the flagging off of the Vande Bharat, the other services also mentioned there, including 13 MMTS services, Secunderabad, Mehboob-Nagar, doubling and electrification. Secunderabad station development itself is a 720 crore rupees project, and as you can see, a very modern station that we are envisioning for Secunderabad, then the roadways of the National Highway Authorities, and of course the All India Institute of Medical Sciences at BB Nagar. So this is the second Vande Bharat that Telangana will be getting, and I must also explain the political context that to this particular event, the Chief Minister, Mr. Prashant Reddy, was the Information Minister, all of them were invited. Congress leader, Congress MP, Congress Chief, Mr. Revant Reddy, but both the Chief Minister and Mr. Revant Reddy absent from here, even though this is a government event, and that is not totally unexpected because the Chief Minister has for the last almost 2 years been avoiding any joint appearance with the Prime Minister, and he has not received or been seen.
Right, the Prime Minister's big push in the